Good evening. I'll call the meeting to order for the Agenda Committee. And if you would please register your presence by voting yes. Mr. Hedrick, your name is still on there if you'd like to vote yes. Our new road superintendent. Oh, I didn't even confirm being here. Okay. Take the roll, please.
We have 19 present, 2 absent.
19 present and 2 absent positions. And Commissioner Melton is sick tonight. Remember him in your prayers. He had to go to the hospital yesterday, so keep him in mind. Next item will be the emergency announcement. If you guys would roll the emergency announcement.
Before we get started, let me read the emergency evacuation procedures. In the event of an emergency evacuation, an alarm will sound. Everyone should exit the building by way of the nearest stairwell in a safe and effective manner. If the nearest stairwell is blocked by smoke, use the other stairwell. Do not use the elevator. Once you have reached the main floor, follow the exit signs to exit the building and quickly proceed away from the building. Please be mindful of others evacuating and of emergency vehicles.
Next item will be the setting of the agenda. The chair will entertain a motion to set the agenda. Commissioner Carver, is there a second? Commissioner Lewis, discussion. The board is clear. If you are in favor of setting the agenda, please vote yes. If you are opposed, please vote no. Please vote.
We have 19 voting yes.
And the agenda is set. Next item is input on items on the agenda. Is there anyone who wishes to speak to an item that is on the agenda? Seeing no hands, we'll move on. Next item is approval of the Agenda Committee minutes. Chair will entertain a motion.
Move approval, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Moon moves. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Brower, and is there discussion, changes, additions? Board is clear. If you are in favor of approving the minutes, please vote yes. If you are opposed, please vote no. Please vote.
We have 19 voting yes.
19 yes, the minutes are approved for the April 12th meeting. Next item are the items for the consent calendar. The minutes from April 18th and 21st, and the approval of the deputy sheriff and notary public bonds, and the election of notaries. Chair will entertain a motion to move the consent calendar to the full agenda.
So moved, Mr.
Commissioner Lewis, is there a second? Commissioner Carver, is there discussion? Commissioner Monroe, let me get to the microphone here. Commissioner Monroe.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to request that the minutes from the April 18th meeting be pulled from the, removed from the consent calendar and placed under new business.
Okay, that is the commissioner's prerogative. So the minutes from the April 18th will be moved to item G, where would we put that? G9? Part F1? Well,
F is unfinished business.
I'm sorry.
F is,
The first item of new business on the full.
Unfinished business,
okay.
not new.
Yeah.
Unfinished business.
New business.
F is unfinished business.
On this count, on this, yes, but on the full commission agenda.
I don't know what it is.
It's all F.
Okay. So we're moving to F1. Is that, everybody's clear on that? So we'll pull April 18th and move it to F1 on the commission agenda with this vote. Board is clear. If you are in favor, please vote yes. If you are opposed, please vote no. Moving this to the full agenda and the change to F1. The item moves to the full agenda. There is no unfinished business under new business. Budget transfers, I'm showing 0 budget transfers. Under budget increases, we have 6 budget increases. The chair will entertain a motion. I'm trying to catch up to where we are here. The first one is general county trustee fees and commission. The chair will entertain a motion to move it to the agenda. Commissioner Lewis, is there a second? Commissioner Carver. Now, let's see. Discussion, Commissioner Akers. Go ahead, sir. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In reviewing the paperwork that is included with this resolution, it has been marked as an adjustment without telling us whether or not it is a budget increase or budget decrease. So therefore, I would like to send it back to the Budget Committee and make that motion.
We have a motion to refer it back to the Budget Committee. Is there a second? I'm sorry, was that Commissioner Monroe? All right, couldn't hear you. There is a motion to refer it back to the Budget Committee. Is there discussion? Board is clear. I'm sorry. Commissioner Stinnett, go ahead.
Is there someone that can tell us if it's an increase or decrease or neutral?
Can't be neutral.
Mr. Randy? Okay. Oh, that's right. We're on the motion to refer only. Yeah, the chair rules it does. Mr. Oh, that's under Mitchell. Go ahead. Randy, do you want to explain that, please?
The $250,000 is an increase in the appropriation or the expense. The other side of the financial transaction is it's also an increase in revenue. And the net effect is it increases fund balance on this transaction only of $150,000 positive.
Thanks, sir. Any other comments or questions? The question before us is to refer this back to the Budget Committee. If you are in favor of referring it back to the Budget Committee, please vote yes. If you are opposed and want to deal with it next week or at the commission meeting, vote no. Please vote. Commissioner Daly, there we go.
We have 5 yes, 14 no.
14 no, that item fails. We're back on the original item. The board is Commissioner Monroe. Hang on, it's the mic. Go ahead, Commissioner.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You said it's 150, my question would be for Mr. Vineyard. It's $150,000 increase to the general fund. So why is a $250,000 of the $400,000 going as a trustee commission?
Under state law, trustees charge a fee for transactions that they collect. The second, so that pertains to the $250,000 increase in expenses. There is an increase in revenue because the trustee generates more money, most trustees do, than the cost of their operation. So it's going to generate $400,000 worth of revenue.
Okay, is the trustee going to have $250,000 more in expenses, or is that money just going to that because it's required to be appropriated under state law that way?
Your latter statement is true.
Okay, so it just has to go there. And then if he doesn't use that, that $250 will go back to the general fund at the end of the year?
All the trustees' activities are accounted for in the general fund.
Okay, so unused funds would be go back.
Yes, if you'll notice on the transaction, it says Fund 101 on both the revenue and the expense, so it all takes place in the general county fund.
Thank you, Mr. Vineyard. Board is clear. If you are in favor, vote yes. If you are opposed, vote no. Please vote. Take a vote. I'm sorry, Ms. Daly. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize we were working on it.
Seventeen voting yes, one no, one abstaining.
That item moves to the full agenda. Next item under General County is the purchases of the Lucas devices. Chair will entertain a motion. Commissioner, I don't know where that, Commissioner French, seconded Commissioner Carver. Now, is there discussion? Board is clear. If you are in favor of moving this item, vote yes. If you are opposed, vote no. Please vote. It's still not working. Commissioner Daly, how do you vote on that?
17 yes, and 2 abstaining.
2 abstain. 17 yes, that item moves to the full agenda. Next item is the courthouse and jail courthouse security project. Chair will entertain a motion to move it forward. Commissioner Kaler, is there a second? Commissioner Allen and Commissioner Monroe, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There's not anything in our packet other than it just says courthouse security project. Was this a project that's been bid out? And if so, can we be given that information?
Is there someone can answer that? Mr. Vineyard, do you wish to speak to that?
The request here is to appropriate $210,000 worth of fund balance in the courthouse jail maintenance fund into this capital project so we could proceed with enhancing the security system here in the building.
So there's been no formal bid process at this point?
No, ma'am, there's no authority to do it unless money's appropriated.
And will we see that again? Will we see that again to vote on it? When we see if it's been bid out, if we're not happy with the bid process, will we see this again?
I have no idea of anticipating what the responses would be.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Vineyard. The board is clear. If you are in favor, vote yes. If you're opposed, vote no. Please vote.
Yes, 1 no, 1 abstaining.
That item moves forward. Next item is under highway. It's the fourth quarter state aid adjustment. Chair will entertain a motion to send it forward. Commissioner French, is there a second? What was that? Commissioner Carter. Commissioner Akerd, you are requesting the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Once again, this resolution number 16-05-007 has the ambiguous marking of an adjustment rather than a budgetary increase or decrease. I would like to know whether it's an increase or a decrease. Can we get an answer on that?
Mr. Vineyard, can you respond to that?
The reason it's marked an adjustment is it's not an increase nor a decrease. This is a reappropriation of fund balance to finish the projects that this body has previously approved.
Mr. Akerd, any further?
So this money wasn't already in the budgets, what you're telling me, so it would be a budget increase? Or this money was already in the budget and we forgot about it and we just needed to write it down again? What are we saying?
Just what I said earlier, this is not an increase, this is a reappropriation. At the end of a fiscal year, budgets lapse. any money unspent falls to fund balance. To be able to finish projects that span fiscal years, we have to come back to this body and ask that those monies be reappropriated.
Commissioner Hager?
I believe that would be, in the case of what you've just explained, I believe that would be selection box number 1, which is no overall change to an adopted budget rather than an adjustment to the budget, based on what you've just told us. So again, I'm trying to establish whether or not this is an increase in the budget or a decrease in the budget, because if it's no change, box number 1 should have been selected, no overall change to adopted budget.
Okay.
Is there no answer to that?
You wish to respond?
I can't say anything other than what I've already told you. If we mark the box, it's an increase, then that means we've counted the money twice.
Thank you, Mr. Vineyard.
So what would be the problem in selecting box number 1, that there's no overall change to an adopted budget, unless, of course, we're being misled?
Anyone wish to respond? Wish to respond?
I don't have anything else.
Okay. Any further, Commissioner?
Yes, I would move that we send this back to be appropriately filled out by, goodness, whoever created it, Highway Department.
Your motion is to refer this back to who?
The Highway Department that's requesting it, whoever.
It's from the Budget Committee.
Okay, Budget Committee then. Send it back to the Budget Committee. Get them to get their paperwork in order before they send it. But let us know whether or not we're spending more money or reappropriating the same amount of money, and it be something in writing rather than something that doesn't show up in the minutes.
Okay, we have a motion to refer this back to the Budget Committee. Is there a second? Commissioner Monroe, is there discussion? If you are in favor, this is on the motion to refer. If you are in favor of referring it back to the Budget Committee, vote yes. If you are opposed, please vote no. Are you ready? Please vote.
We have 5 yes, 14 no.
That item fails. Commissioner Monroe, you wish to speak to the item that's on the floor?
Yes, I do. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Get further clarification from what you said earlier. You said that this was money, this was a project that was in last year's fiscal budget, and now we're finishing it up. Is that correct? This year, this fiscal year?
Mr. Vineyard?
This is the money that we applied to the state to match for capital projects to replace the bridges, if I remember correctly. This is the 2% match. And all those projects came to you for approval. The funding and authorization came to you at one time for all of them. All of those projects weren't completed at the same time. So there's money that remains that has to be reappropriated so they can spend and complete the projects. That's all this is. It's coming back to you asking if that be reappropriated.
Okay, you said this was the 2%, but I thought this was the state money, and I thought the 2% would have come out of the highway. We have our highway superintendent here. May he come forward and answer?
Mr. Hedrick, you wish?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Was this project started last fiscal year?
This is in this year.
Completely?
Yes, but this is also extra state money that we have found here at the end of the year we can go get, and more specifically, to go to Doc Norton and Alfred McCammon Road. So it's the 98-2 money that we found here at the end of the year that we can go do the projects. We have to put the money in, but we get the money back. So it's the 98-2 money, which is,
Have you already put the money in and you're being reimbursed?
that's what this is. We're putting the money in to go do it.
So it has not been done at this point?
No.
Okay. So in essence, this is, if I'm understanding it correctly, and if not, let me know. This is a budget increase. It's just that it's state money. It's not an increase in local money, but it's still an increase. We are amending our local budget to reflect that we're getting state tax dollars. The source is not local, but it's still an increase to the local budget because to reflect that.
We're putting the funds in, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Vineyard, that we have allocated for this to do the project. Then we recoup the money back from the state. We're not increasing our budget.
You're saying it's a wash at the end of the
Yes, sir.
project? The way I understand it.
But it's some additional roads that we can get fixed with the 98-2 money.
That sounds like a transfer to me. What you're saying, if it's already in the budget and you're moving it, it sounds like a transfer then, based on what you just said.
That's not my understanding of it.
Okay, would you give us your understanding then? What is increasing? Where's this money coming from and what is increasing?
It's in the fund balance money.
Highway fund?
Yes.
Okay.
That we have to use to go do it. But then we get reimbursed and it gets put right back. We're not increasing the budget.
We're taking our fund balance money and putting it in there, and then we're doing the project, and the state's reimbursing us
That's correct.
for the
And
same money.
Okay, if this is fund balance money, has it already been appropriated in this year's budget?
No, it's fund balance.
So if
No,
it's
it's fund
sitting in
balance 'cause
fund balance, then it's an increase. We're increasing the budget to use fund balance. You're going to your bank account and you're taking it out of your bank account, which is essentially what fund balance is.
If we were coming out of our budget to fund these two jobs and it wasn't going to get put back, I would agree. But we're not increasing the budget to go do this work to make the roads better for the citizens. We're utilizing, paying 2% on these projects.
And I understand that, and I'm glad that that program is there. But if it's money that's coming out of fund balance, even if it's temporary and going to be reimbursed, it's an increase to you're going to the bank and you're pulling money out of your fund balance. If I go to my bank and pull out money out of my savings account, even if somebody reimburses me, that's temporarily going to lower my bank account.
It will lower it, but it hasn't eat into your operating expenses. If you're operating with expenses for $5 million and you went to do this and it cost you $2 million and you had no money coming back, yes, you've increased it, but that's not the case.
Mr. Vineyard, could you shed some light on it?
Which box it is does not change the transaction. If it makes the commission more comfortable that voted as an increase, change the box. The transaction is still, we're asking to appropriate $186,000 and change from fund balance, putting it in a capital account, 500,726 in the highway fund to be able to accomplish what the superintendent said.
Okay.
No, nothing changes no matter the box check.
But budget's not getting increased.
Okay, this new form has really muddied the water. Thank you.
Commissioner Aker, do you wish the floor?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. we just heard that which box is checked makes no difference. Yet when this new form was proposed, and I specifically said it would muddy the water, that we should leave the form the way that it was, this body elected to go an opposite direction from what I was recommending, but it will be, as I hope that I explained that day, we will be making an effort to determine whether it's a budget increase or a budget decrease every time we find this box checked for the rest of our term. So if you want things to go through with the rubber stamp the way they used to go through a lot easier, go back to using the form the way it used to be so that we can determine easily whether it's a budget increase or a budget decrease or no overall change to the adopted budget, which was already on there. Just adjustments not going to get it done. It shouldn't get it done. It's too easy to cheat. It's uncalled for. The 3 boxes that were already there are plenty good. So if you want to exercise this procedure on a regular basis, keep checking that box, because every single one of them we're going to talk about until we determine whether it's a budget increase, a budget decrease, or no change.
Thank you, Commissioner Daly.
I said point of order.
Okay, what's your point of order?
Where was the question in this? I mean, discussing, it had nothing to do with what we're doing. We have a motion to move something forward. We're discussing a box.
Okay, the board is clear, so let's vote. Did you wish, I'm sorry, Commissioner.
I'm sorry, I've had a computer malfunction, and I was at the budget committee, but I couldn't ask. On this same page, it's got Lucas devices, and I don't know what Lucas devices are.
We're already past that. We can answer that later.
Okay, somebody answer it when this is over.
We'll answer that later. Yeah, we're past that. If you're in favor of moving this item forward, please vote yes. If you're opposed, vote no. Please vote. What's next? The question is moving the item on the state aid adjustment to the full agenda.
To the budget committee, and it was seconded here.
And that failed.
Okay.
We are on the main motion. This is the main motion to move it forward. Please take the vote after Commissioner Carter confirms. Oh, yeah, Mr. French?
16 voted yes.
That item moves forward. We're moving on. Next item on the agenda is the school's replacement of the football stadium transfer. Chair will entertain a motion to move it forward. Commissioner Bowers, is there a second? Where was that? Mr. Caskey. Now, board is clear. Commissioner Akerd.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am glad to see that this is shown as a budget increase, by the way, in the box. But my question was regarding the competitive bid situation for these football stadium lights and poles at William Blount High Schools. We are not presented with any information on that, and having previously awarded, I believe, $380,000 for this project, if memory serves, I would certainly like to have some semblance of competitive bid going on here. I believe we have probably advertised in the paper that we approved $380,000 for the project, so naturally it would be unusual for it to come in way under budget going out for competitive bid after we've appropriated the money in such a large sum. But before we approve the additional money, I think we should see in writing why we need to be doing so. So I would move that we send this back to the Budget Committee.
We have a motion to refer it back to the Budget Committee. Is there a second? Motion's made and seconded. Commissioner Farmer, you wish to speak to this motion?
Yes, sir, I'll speak to the referral.
Okay.
It doesn't need to be referred back. The competitive bid was approved by the school board. I mean, it came in at 300 and, it came in $30,000 over. That's the necessity of increasing it. The money that was moved prior was moved on the estimate we had been given by the engineering company, and it came in 30,000 over bid. That's the necessity of doing this. This has been approved by the school board and brought forward. Now, if you want to see the competitive bids, I'm sure you can get them from purchasing.
Okay, the board is clear. We aren't.
I'm not done yet, sir. I would like to address what was just told to us. We've been receiving paperwork that says approved by the Board of Education on pretty much everything that they request a budget increase for. I think they have to go through the process of getting their budget increased via this legislative body. We're not just supposed to automatically say yes to everything they ask for, or otherwise we wouldn't need to be sitting here. So my due diligence to the taxpayer is to try to find out why, when a month ago it was $380,000, it now needs to be $30,000 more, and we have no supporting paperwork to go with it. So that's why I made the motion. Thank you.
Commissioner Allen?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I suggest that the commissioners that do not understand how a public open bid works attend one. There is no supporting document that comes with it. You turn in your price, they open it up. I think on this job there was at least 4 turned in. The engineer puts the estimate together, and that's all it is an estimate. So if you don't understand how the process works, I'm sure that I know the office is open to the public for you to attend it.
Oh, it's not a problem that I don't understand how the process has been working. We're just trying to establish a better way to save money. And that's what we were elected for.
Gentlemen, the question on the floor is a referral back to the Budget Committee. If you are in favor of referring it back to the Budget Committee, vote yes. If you are opposed, vote no. Please vote. Oh, mine's not. There we go. And Commissioner Carver? I did too. Mine didn't work. And that item fails. We're back on the original motion to send it to the agenda. Commissioner Monroe, you wish to speak to this motion?
Yes, I do, and this incorporates the item next to it. There is a following item for an $80,000 increase because the revenue has come in higher than originally anticipated. So with that capital fund having I'm explaining.
Commissioner, that's coming up next.
I know, and I'm explaining how that relates to what I'm about to say.
Okay.
So if we have $80,000 that's going to go into that capital fund for capital projects, why don't we take the $30,000 out of that capital fund rather than taking it out of 141?
I'm sure that question will be answered by the Budget Committee, but we will talk about it when we get there. The question on the floor,
Well, why can't, okay, so why can't we take this out of capital fund? Forget the next item. Why can't we just take it out of the 177 instead of the 141?
Mr. Vineyard, can you answer that?
The school board adopted a capital plan, and they've appropriated money or planned for money to be spent to address those capital plans, both in the general purpose school fund and their capital project fund.
So in essence, we could, but we're not. Okay, thank you. Or
All right.
possibly could.
If you are in, let's see, we got a motion on the floor? Okay, I'm confused myself. If you are in favor of moving the item for the stadium to the full agenda, please vote yes. If you are opposed, vote no. Please vote.
We have 17 yes, 2 no's.
That item moves forward to the agenda. The next item is the education capital project, the alignment with the projected cost, $80,000. Chair will entertain a motion to move it forward. Where was it? Commissioner Caskey, is there a second? Second. Commissioner French. Now, the board is clear. If you are in favor of moving this item forward, please vote yes. If you are opposed, vote no. Please vote. There we go.
18 yes, 1 no.
That item moves forward. According to what I have, that's all the budget increases, and I show no other budget items. The next item on the agenda, G4, the appointment, Blount County Planning Commission, Blount County Corrections Partnership. I got off on the wrong one.
Mr. Chairman, I move we send this on forward to the commission.
Okay, we have a motion to move this forward to the agenda. Is there a second? Commissioner Farmer. We're on G4, appointment Blount County Partnership. There was no GC. There wasn't anything. So we're at G4, and there's a motion and a second on the floor. So if you are in favor of placing this item on the agenda, please vote yes. If you are opposed, vote no. Please vote. That item moves to the agenda. The next item is an appointment to the Blount County Planning Commission. Chair will entertain a motion to move this item to the agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I ask we move that forward to items D, appointments, elections, and confirmations. I take it that's where the last item went also.
Yes, the last two items would have gone to elections and appointments. The motion is to move this item to elections and appointments. Is there a second? Commissioner Allen. If you are in favor of moving this item to the agenda, please vote yes. If you are opposed, please vote no. Please vote. Is it not working, Commissioner Daly?
18 yes, 1 abstain.
That item moves to the agenda. Next item is the resolution regarding the sheriff cease federal housing federal inmates in the Blount County Adult Detention Facility. I'm sorry, I got an eye appointment at 8:20 in the morning to get my glasses checked. So bear with me. Chair will entertain a motion. Commissioner Monroe, is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Miller, is there discussion? Yes, ma'am. Pardon me? You object to the consideration of the question? On what grounds?
He doesn't have to give you no
Okay.
discussion. Be careful how you put the question to the body, Mr. Rector.
So how does the question go to the body on an objection?
Does the objection have to be made before a motion is second?
Before it's stated by the chair in a recognition of the person for discussion.
And I have not yet stated it.
Will the body consider the question? Yes. Will the body not consider the question? No. If you want to consider it, you vote yes.
Okay, I'm going to repeat it.
No.
So the question is, will the body consider this question? That's the vote. That's an up or down vote. And, or not. There'll be a yes or a no. If you would like to consider this issue, you will vote yes. If you do not want to consider this issue, you will vote no. And you can let me know when you're ready. We need to let the clerk catch up here. This is not debatable. If you want to consider it, you vote yes.
Because reconsideration can only take place with a no vote.
Are you ready?
No, that makes more clarification.
Okay.
Yes,
You will consider it.
and no would be
No consideration.
Commissioner Allen as
The objective of consideration.
Commissioner Allen objected, so
that would be no.
if you do not want to talk about it, if you don't want to talk about it, you vote no. If you want to talk about it, you vote yes. That's the bottom line. Everybody understand? Clerk's ready, so if you're ready to vote, please vote yes or no.
As a point of order,
Yeah.
are we allowed to do this after the motion has been made and seconded?
I did not announce the motion. Before the chair announces the motion, you can.
The board actually shows the
Doesn't
motion
actually.
being made and seconded, sir.
It's made
Well,
and
let's-
seconded, but no discussion. The chair did not state the question. Once the chair states the
This-
question,
The chair has to state the question before it becomes property of the body. And I did not state the question.
Point of order, there's a lot of debate over a non-debatable point.
We're going to vote, up or down.
There was the other two times I tried to do, sir.
no, Mr. Aker.
Please, we have a question on the floor. Let's decide it. We are going to decide this question. It is an objection. If you are in favor of discussing this issue, you will vote yes. If you are opposed, you will vote no. And we are voting right now. So if you intend to vote, vote right now. Thank you. I voted wrong. Changed my vote. Yeah, I hit the wrong button. I either hit abstain or. Now, all right, now, we had some people voted and some didn't. Let's vote. Now vote. Yes or no?
Eight yeses, 11 noes.
Takes two-thirds of motion fails. So we will be considering that issue, and now the motion on the floor is to send this to the agenda, and the chair stated it. So now we can talk about it. Commissioner Monroe, you have the floor. Let me get the mic on here. Well, the board's clear now.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Is there anyone here from the sheriff's office that can answer questions?
I don't see anybody.
Okay. All right. I have a simple request. The sheriff has stated that under state law, he has the authority to contract with the U.S. Marshals Service to house inmates in the Blount County Adult Detention Facility. So my simple request is for the sheriff to show me the law that authorizes him to contract with the U.S. Marshal Service. I have a couple of laws here from the state code that lead me to wonder whether or not he does in fact actually have such authority. TCA 88221 says that the sheriff of each county shall establish regulations governing the acceptance of persons other than state prisoners for incarceration in the county jail. Except for state prisoners held in the county jail, no person shall be incarcerated in the county jail without the approval of the sheriff or the sheriff's designee, subject to approval of the court having criminal jurisdiction over the sheriff's jurisdiction as provided by regulation. So first, I would like to know, has a judge approved that? And secondly, when you go down to C under that same TCA 88221, it says, this section applies only to counties having a population of not less than 9,000 nor more than 9,100 according to the 1970 federal census, which I don't believe is Blount County, or any subsequent federal census, and to the counties having a population of not less than 770,000 nor more than 780,000 according to the 1980 federal census or subsequent federal census. So I would simply just ask if the sheriff does have the authority to contract with the U.S. Marshal Service to please show me the law that says he has the authority. Because the way I read that code says that each county shall establish regulations and that the sheriff does have some say as long as the judge approves. But that code only applies to counties that have a really small population or a really large population. I've never asked for an opinion from the mayor's attorney, but if the sheriff won't show us the law, then I would request that the mayor ask his attorney to show us the law that authorizes this practice. And so I would encourage this body to move this issue forward so that we can have an answer next week as to what the state law actually says. I have asked CTAS for an opinion, and I was given 2 paragraphs that quoted some cases, and I asked whether those pertain to federal prisoners and was told that was all they had, so I asked for further clarification. I'm still waiting for an answer from CTAS. So it's a simple question. Show me what statute under state law allows the sheriff to contract to house federal prisoners or inmates. That's another thing that's not clear. These terms, I've heard them referred to as inmates, I've heard them referred to as prisoners, I've heard them referred to as pretrial detainees. We're told that we don't keep them after they're sentenced. So does he have the authority to keep them pre-sentence, post-sentence, and contract with the feds to do so?
Commissioner Farmer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have a correctional partnership, and after looking and listening, it's obvious this did not come from them. Therefore, I make a motion to refer it to the Blount County Correctional Partnership.
We have a motion to refer. Is there a second? Second. Commissioner Allen. Discussion on just the referral. Commissioner Daly, you wish to speak to the motion to refer? The original motion. Commissioner Monroe, do you wish to speak to the motion to refer? Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The reason this is before you is because the vice chairman prohibited me from putting it on the agenda to discuss it. I believe in going through the proper channels as well, but I was prohibited by the vice chairman from placing it on the agenda. So that's why this is here before you. So you can send it back to them if you want to. You're referring this to them. It didn't come from them, but the vice chairman would not even let me put it on the agenda for discussion.
Are you talking about me? I'm the vice chairman.
No, of the Blount County Corrections Partnership. No, excuse me, I'm sorry. The vice chairman of the Blount County Corrections Partnership.
I knew I didn't remember doing that, but I don't remember a lot of things. We have a motion to refer. The board is clear. If you are in favor of referring this to the Corrections Partnership, you will vote yes. If you are opposed, you will vote no. Please vote.
Yes, 5 no.
That item is referred to the Corrections Partnership. The next item on the agenda is a resolution to restructure the Blount County Human Resources Committee. Chair will entertain a motion to move this forward. Commissioner Stinnett, is there a second? Second. Commissioner Carver. Now, is there discussion? The board is clear. If you are in favor of moving this forward, vote yes. I'm sorry. Someone hit their button. That's blank now. If you're in favor of sending this forward, vote yes. If you're opposed, vote no. We'll get the board ready here in a second. Okay.
Yes, 2 no.
That item moves forward to the full agenda. Next item is setting public hearings. Rhonda, do we have dates on those? Oh, I think you gave it to me and I just missed it. Here, let me look.
Mr. Chairman, I
Yes.
move to set 8A, Seville Road hearing, June 7th, 5:30, room 430, Blount County Courthouse. 8B, June 7th, 5:45, room 430, Blount County Courthouse. 8C, June 7th at 6 p.m.
Okay.
Room 430, Blount County Courthouse.
Everybody get that A at 5:30 and B at 5:45 and C at 6 o'clock, all on June 7th.
That's my motion.
That's the motion. Is there a second? Where was the second? Commissioner French. Let's see, Commissioner Moon, you're lit up. Okay, Commissioner Monroe.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. When it's sent to this body to set a public hearing and there's no formal recommendation, do we have, by state law, do we have to have a public hearing, or could we send it back to the Planning Commission and tell them to make a recommendation?
I think the law requires a public hearing, does it not?
Do we have to just do that and then?
I mean, I've always known that to be
There's no recommendation.
somebody, but I've never served on the Planning Commission yet, so somebody on the Planning Commission, can you answer it, or Gary?
You have to have due process.
Well,
The
I
law
understand.
requires a public hearing, I'm pretty sure. Got to have the hearing.
Well, all I'm asking is though whether we could ask the Planning Commission to actually, you know, one member resigned, another one was absent. There should be 2 people more present in the future meetings to vote on this. Could we send it back, or do we have to have a public hearing first before we send it back?
I understand. Whatever the pleasure of the body is, I guess. We don't have to set it. Do we? Anybody know?
Don't forget, you're also getting a recommendation from the City of Maryville Planning Commission, and our Planning Commission is forwarding on the results of that vote.
So these all came from both bodies, Maryville and
That's
Blount.
correct. And the result of the recommendation from our Planning Commission was a split. So you got our recommendation. It's a split recommendation.
Okay.
There is no recommendation.
Well, I've got Andy's mic on. Mr. Carter, let me get your mic on if I can find it here. What was it you
Well, I'm
said?
saying it's my understanding that although on the planning committee, what we vote on, is if they disapprove it, then what we vote on doesn't matter anyway. The city of Maryville, yeah.
No, that's incorrect. You will get
Okay.
2 recommendations. You'll get a recommendation from the Blount County Planning Commission, and you'll get a recommendation from the City of Maryville Planning Commission. And it's all
Because
about,
it's in the urban growth
that is
boundary.
correct. It's a county property outside the city limits in an urban growth boundary, And I do believe that you have to have a public setting regardless of whether you get either recommendation.
But the way it was set up there in the law that was made, that we're supposed to work together with it, but the end all be all of the law is they've got to approve it more so than we do.
No, they don't have to approve it at all. This commission is the only body that can approve or disapprove that rezoning of that piece of property.
The bottom line is we have to set the
You've got to
public
have a
hearing.
public hearing.
Should we get a second? Oh, we did. Ray, I'm sorry, Mr. French. So we do have a motion and a second to set the public hearings for June the 7th at the appropriate times that I mentioned. The board is clear. If you're in favor of moving this item with those dates, please vote yes.
Yes, 1 no.
18 yes, 1 no, item moves forward. Next item, announcements and statements. Commission meeting will be May 19th, 7 p.m. Now, is there anyone who wishes to speak to an item not on the agenda?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. You have an announcement. I'm sorry. Let me turn your mic on.
Okay. In accordance with TCA 55111, notice is hereby given that the Blount County Legislative Body will meet in a call meeting Thursday, May 19th at 6 p.m. 6 p.m. Our regular meeting's at 7. 6 p.m. Blount County, room 430, Blount County Courthouse, to fill vacancy in office of District 5, Seat A, caused by the resignation of Jeff Hedrick. This legal notice will appear in tomorrow's Daily Times. I want to go ahead and let the commissioners know we're all here except for Commissioner Melton. So everyone is.
And the date again?
It's on the commission meeting night, which
Except
is
at 6 p.m.
May the 19th at 6 p.m.
Okay, everybody hear that? Got that? Special call meeting, 6 p.m. the night of the commission. And I saw no hands, so this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.